let's talk about some sequences with numbers. There are two basic kinds of sequences that we're going to talk about in this course. The first one is called an arithmetic sequence, and you might see the word arithmetic in the title of this kind of sequence, and that's because we're going to be doing some arithmetic. But first, before we get there, I want you to look at this table that I've got right here. And I want you to maybe pause the video for a sec and answer the question that I've got on the screen. What do you notice about the numbers in the entry column and how they're changing in this table? So pause your video for a minute and see what you can find out about the numbers in the entry column and how they're changing. So hopefully you paused your video and you thought about that. But what I see in this entry column is that every time I go from one number to the next, I'm adding 3. And remember, we're looking for patterns here in this section. So we're adding 3 here. We're also on this side, the position is changing by 1. So we're adding 1 every time we change position of our entry. So our entry is adding 3, our position is adding 1. Now, the first question asks you to think about if there is an entry at position 0, what would it be? And put it on the table. So you might want to pause the video again and think about that and answer it for yourself before you move on. So if we went back from position 1 to position 0, we would have to go, if we were going forward, we would want to add 3. So in this case, to go from position 1 to position 0, we are going to, in this case, subtract 3. So to go forward from 0 to 1, we want to add 3. So we have to go backwards. So our entry number here would be 2, because 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14, etc., etc. So we're adding 3 each time. So now we're going to fill in the blanks here in part B of our sequence, starting from position 0. So if we start at position 0, to get to the entry at position 1, we start at 2 and we add 3 one time. Now, let's start at position 0. To find the entry at position 2, we start at 2 and we add 3 2 times. So notice we add 3 to 2 to get to 5 and 3 to 5 to get to 8. To find the entry at position 3, we start at 2 and we add 3 times. You should be seeing a pattern here. We're looking for a pattern. So we can go to entry at position 4. We start at 2 and add 3 4 times. For position 5, we start at 2 and we add 3 5 times. Now, let's say we don't know. We're going to go for position X. So we're going to start at 2 and we're going to add 3 X times. So now We're building up to something here. So let's see what we get for part C of our problem. For every bullet point in part B, write an expression using addition and multiplication that corresponds to the description for finding the entry in the sequence. Again, I want you to pause your video and try it. Try to write an expression using addition and multiplication. Remember, addition is add and multiplication is times, if that helps you. So pause for a minute and come back. All right, so hopefully you paused and tried it. So for our position 1 entry, we're going to start at 2 and we're going to add 3 one time. For position 2, we're going to start at 2 and we're going to add 3 2 times. For position 3, we're going to start at 2. We're going to add 3 3 times. See the pattern forming? Position 4, add 3 4 times. And position 5, add 3 5 times. Guess what position X will be? It doesn't say it here, but for position X, we're going to start at 2 and add 3x times. This is looking like an algebraic equation, and that's what we're going for. So here, let y be the entry position, be the entry in every position X. And so what we could say here is, we could say y is our entry position, and that equals 2 plus 3 times x. All right, so notice we're writing an algebraic equation to represent our pattern, our sequence, our arithmetic sequence. Now, if we plot these points on a graph, we could write these points as ordered pairs. 1, 5, 2, 8. Don't forget our 0, 2 position. Okay? And remember how to plot points. If you don't remember how to plot points on an XY axis, you go over by the X number. So our first number is 0, over 0, up 2. Over 1, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over 2, up 8. 1, 2, 3. Or we could just look at it like this. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. There's our next dot. Over 1, up 3. And if we connect these points on a graph, how are they related? This is our transition into linear equations. So we are actually, when we're looking at an arithmetic sequence, we are actually looking at a change, a constant rate of change that could be represented by a line on a graph.